What is up, winning team? Jezebel was right. She was right. She was right. And I'm going to unpack this. Sorry, I just had to come out. I've been waiting. I haven't even slept. I was waiting for the sun to rise so I could record a video because I'm kind of getting the ick about recording indoors at the moment and just being out in nature. You guys know it's my thing. Anyway, so Jezebel was right. So I've been in a bit of a rut, right? The last week or so. And I kind of just settled into this state of I just don't care about anything. I'm going somewhere with this because it's all connected. So I've been feeling like I just don't care about anything. I just am I just don't care. I don't care. I don't feel motivated to do absolutely anything at all. All I've been doing is working. When I'm not working, I'm playing games and listening to music and doing nothing productive, right? So in the last to this whole night that I should have been asleep, which I skipped out on sleeping because I slept the last 2 nights and both days I just had bad days. The sleep thing isn't working for me at the moment. We'll come back to that in another day. But yeah, so instead I decided I'll do the deep dive into the world because I don't really pay attention to the news. I don't pay attention really to what's happening on social media other than people that I follow for entertainment. So I have to consciously, what I look at it as dip back into the world mentally every now and then. And what I realized, and this is kind of what blew the wind in my sails and why I started to not care, was that after I started doing the Guy Fawkes videos, which again, I kept accidentally saying Martin Luther King when I meant Martin Luther, but anyway. And I was just why do I just even try it? But you know what? It is what it is. I made a mistake. I meant Martin Luther. My problem. Probably because I talk too fast. Anyway, so after I'd done that, I had this revelation about how different, and I know this is all going to sound crazy, but just run with me, walk with me, okay? I had this realization about how different faith is in this country versus the United States, right? Because obviously I didn't grow up in the United States, so I didn't realize that, and this, I've only come to understand this. This is what kind of made me feel defeated, right? And it all goes back to how Jezebel was right with everything that happened while I was in Poland. So I hadn't realized that in America, people are so much more used to having experiences with churches and this and that on a much deeper level than here. People here have been to church, because 80% of people here are atheists, right? But people here, they've been to church at Christmas and they've been to church maybe on Easter and maybe they were baptized as a baby, but there was never a proper, they were born into a family that was Mormon. They grew up Southern Baptist or they didn't really grow up in church. So when I'm making videos, I'm talking to people that are on a blank slate or who haven't had been as in as they could have, but most of my audience is in the United States, which made me realize, wait a minute, I'm up against other people who use the same phrases I do, because now that I've heard more of what a lot of American people's experiences are with the church, I'm wow, I say a lot of the things a lot of other people have said who are fraudulent. It's goes back to what I was saying to you guys about the battle is not about good versus evil, but it's the truth versus the closest lie. So I'll be very honest in telling you that I've been feeling defeated because I realized, especially after doing my deep dive, I did my social media deep dive, also did my churching deep dive and whatever. I've realized that wow, what's out there and what I'm doing on social media, it actually kind of all sounds the same. So then I've been in this rut of how do I unpack, how do I make it different? Because if I'm using the same phrases, I'm saying the same things, people know the same sayings, I'm not used to talking to people who are more well-versed, because now I'm realizing I just sound the same as anybody else, and honestly, it's making me feel defeated, and that's what's been making me not care. And why that goes back to Jezebel is because what I learned from Jezebel is that the craftiness of what she does, and even the devil, is, again, it's not about having the biggest deception of all time. it's like having the closest lie, like I said, the closest lie, so that it's going to be really hard for people to decipher between what is truth and what is lie, unless you do your due diligence. Because I'll tell you one thing that bothers me, I will say, for people who are questioning their faith, is like, why don't people read the Bible for themselves? Because there's so many things that people go through. They're like, I used to be Christian, I grew up Christian, blah, blah, blah. But I went through this and this and this. With my family, I went through this and this and this with the church. And I'm like, yeah, the Bible literally talks against so many of those things. And I got to where I got to now because I read the Bible and I saw the hypocrisies. I saw all the hypocrisies. I saw the things that didn't make sense. And I was like, right. So the issues I was having before, when we don't do the work, right, of studying for ourselves, the Bible says study to show yourself approved, but also study for your own sake, like to make sure that, because a lot of people, and this is what breaks my heart, is hearing people that were once so dedicated to the faith, even Mr. Beast is another one, who now are like walked away from the faith, and I can see within their actions, because I'm not like the world who just quick to label everything. I'm like, no wonder everybody's struggling with their identities, because you're once in this framework, and the hardest thing, the thing that the devil's going to fight the most, obviously, is going to be God's way of doing things. So that's why I feel like when people move away from that, all of a sudden, we're all not heterosexual anymore, and we need all these titles and all of this, because to me it's all a trauma response. I'll be honest, I feel like it's a trauma response. I feel like it's one of those things where the thing that God created and the way God created things to be, we're so far from it as a world, and the church is so far from it as well. And what God created is a good thing, but a lot of the examples we have are the bad versions of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the things I saw on my social media deep dive was this man, one of these men who's all like, work out and like do this and like what you should get from women, you know, these like, I don't want to use any of the societal phrases, but let's just say he's one of them, right? Who thinks he knows everything, whatever. And, you know, takes pride and feels like he's everything and can do whatever he wants, however he wants, because he's got some biceps and some money. And classic. And when he went to prison, and he's all trying to coach men, yeah, about all this stuff. When he goes to prison now, bearing in mind, he's somebody who even was speaking about God. We've got all these men talking about God, this. Bro, the girl he was sleeping with, which he referred to as, I can't remember what it was, but it was a very demeaning term that he used for her. But anyway, he was like, she looks on his phone when he's gone into prison, and he was all sending messages to other men on Grindr in like fishnet stockings and all this, which was making me laugh, because I was thinking, you wanted to appear to yourself as the most, and this is what I'm saying, is the fakes and the phonies are always loud and proud as well. They're loud and proud. So I'm like, it's my one voice. Like, this is what I feel like. This is why I feel exhausted. It's my one voice that sounds so close to what other people sounds like. Yeah. I'm the one second guessing myself every 5 seconds. Literally. Earlier today, I was thinking I need to delete my channel. Why have I ever opened my mouth? Like, what did I think I was doing? You know. And it's always these other people who would loudly and proudly, without a second thought, live as hypocrites, spouting out the same, you know, messages that some of us do about, you know, there's one guy who was caught, you know, doing things with young girls and whatever. We're talking about standing in his house, talking about, look at how God provides for me and what the Lord did for me. And it's like, you know what? God did provide for you. I just don't think it's the most high one. And that's the other thing. That's dangerous. I'll never forget, a man of God said that in a message once, like, don't get so excited when you hear your favorite celebrities thanking God on stage, because they haven't specified which God they are thanking. And I was like, this is exactly, again, goes back to the devil and how good he is. And just these like very close lies, like so close to the truth, but not quite there. Like, this is what I hear, like when I hear like witches and stuff, they'll talk about stuff I talk about. Or even Scientology. Let's think about that. That's another more popular one over there, right? Scientology, they teach that in your life you go through traumas. The traumas affect how you behave. If you're able to remove the effects of the traumas, you'll get back to your proper self, yada, yada, yada. True, because that's exactly why we do healing and deliverance in the body of Christ, for the same reason. I'm basically, again, I'm spouting the same exact thing as L. Ron Hubbard. He's saying you need to get rid of these Satans. I'm saying you need to get rid of the demons. So again, are you going to go for, but then in his world, we're all the supreme deity. And we all came together and we came from you know what I'm saying? And then we just become another pick and choose. And yeah, it's really frustrating. It's been really frustrating me. And I'm telling you guys, I don't know what to do. And this is exactly what Jezebel showed me. It's exactly what Jezebel showed me just from seeing her. And when I saw her, the thing that stuck out to me about her is how she looked, right? And in the Jezebel videos that I did, I used I very kindly asked ChatGPT to create the image, and I made the image look exactly how she looked, right? She's wearing a black denim shirt and blue denim jeans. I can't remember what shoes she had on. Both of them had like a blue rose and a green rose paired together, like lots of small ones all over on both her top and bottom. She had a horse, which I never mentioned that the first time. She was with a horse, so she like was standing in front of the horse as if she just got off of the horse. It's just insane, right? And then she just got off the horse, and she's very beautiful, extremely beautiful, and she had like golden blonde wavy hair, like really beautiful hair, and it was like where, you know, like when, I don't know what the name for it is, and I should know because I've heard other women talk about what this hair thing looks like. It's like you got blonde and brown, and it just looked gorgeous, right? And she looked stunning. And I was looking at her, I was thinking she was wearing an outfit very similar to outfits that I wear, basically. But of the two of us, right, if you were to put her outfit and my outfit next to each other, I'm going to be the one that looks like the heathen. I'm going to be the one that looks like the heathen, and she's going to look like the trustworthy one. Even though the changes in our outfit are so small, because I'd either wear a denim miniskirt, or like short or whatever's, and probably knee-high boots, heeled, and I would definitely have anyway. And that really stuck out to me because I was like, that's interesting. She's giving off this sort of persona, because that's the other thing I've been thinking so much about, how people are so quick to trust in something based on their eyes. So if something looks godly to you because of what you've perceived, you don't even know God, but you make a decision on what you think godly looks like. That's actually crazy if you think about it, because you're basically going about it like, well, I think that godliness looks like this. I think that good looks like this. And you go with that. Because again, I was thinking to myself how it's always, people are always shocked, right? Again, on my social media dive, oh my gosh, this big aggressive biker stepped in to save this kid who was being kidnapped. Or no, stepped in to help this person. Again, it was another grape situation, where somebody was being graped, right? Or trying to, take advantage of a child. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, you would never think he was. I'm like, because the guy has a leather jacket and all this and tattoos and a beard, and now just because of that alone, that makes you question that person. That's how dumb we are. That's why I think society is stupid. That's why all the devil has to do is have the closest lie, the closest thing that appeases the jury of the sheeple. And this is why I realize I've not been caring. I'm going to come back to that. Hold on one second. Come back. I don't know why I even bothered to say that, because you guys aren't going to be able to tell the difference. The Lord, can I just say before I continue, the Lord needs to come and rescue me from this planet. Like, I need to get rescued from this society. Maybe not necessarily the planet, but the Lord better be like redoing the garden at this moment, ready for us to move back in. But anyway, as I was saying, Um, so the celebrities. So one of the things I've been thinking about is about the celebrities, right? And how celebrities are actually the most insecure people of everybody, right? Because I've been trying to wrap around my own brain a lot of things about myself. Yeah. Like one of the things that I've been wrapping around trying to get my brain around is why I just, like I said, don't care to do a lot of things. And I realize it's because I'm not really seeking anything from the world. Like when I was a kid, I really wanted to be an actor, right? And that was like my thing. I was like, I'm going to be an actor one day, whatever. But like the older that I got, I just was like, you know what? I don't want to play anything other than myself. I don't want to get lost in a character. And I feel like celebrities in a lot of ways are the highest form of like this avoidance of the realities of what we're actually living in, that everybody's participating in, because they're the ones who really try to they really try to keep the attention of people. Because one thing I've been wondering, is from the Hollywood side of it, I get it. Like Hollywood's always going to be trying to make money. It's a business. The people at the top, the gatekeepers, they're all just about the money. But the celebrities, like I've been recently thinking, so many of them are like trying so hard to like, I'm going somewhere with this and the Jezebel thing, so just run with me, right? They're trying so hard to like keep like the attention of the jury of the sheeple. And I realized it's because like that is their fuel. They need that source, you know. I was listening to Colleen Ballinger talking about this because she was, she's going on Tea Time with Raven Simone, which is a bit of a controversial choice if you ask me, but hey ho. And obviously she's known because she does that whole Miranda, she used to do the Miranda Sings thing. And again, she did something I feel like a lot of people do, is when you get to play a character, you kind of can expose parts of yourself you wouldn't normally, because you care so much about everybody and you're scared of losing everybody. We're going somewhere with this, right? Because all of this, everything I'm talking about, it's all about the jury of the sheeple and swaying the jury of the sheeple. That's what all of this is all about. It's the same thing in Garden of Eden. It's like, who is going to sway Adam and Eve? God or the serpent? And we choose the serpent every time. So she, she got into a whole issue because she had been talking to underage kids, and she'd been very inappropriate with them, asking them if they'd lost their virginities. Again, it's all very sexual, a lot of this stuff as well, which again to me is evidence of this, like, people kind of trying to, like, I feel like that's why Christians obsess. I feel like the people that are always obsessed with, like, oh, you're fornicating and oh, who's doing this, and everybody's so bothered about everybody's sexualities and sex lives. It's like, why is that the thing that's always on your mind? That's my question. Because I've always found that weird. Like, why is that always the thing that's on your mind? Why is it? I remember somebody was saying about how at their church they used to check girls' vaginas to see if they felt like they had, to make sure they were still pure. I'm like, honestly, where does that come from? Because, like, obviously this is what your mind is on. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously this is what you're thinking about. So it sounds like you're the one with the problem. Sounds like you're projecting, which again happens a lot. But anyway, so yeah, I know too much. The phrase ignorance is bliss. I'm on the exact other end of the scale, and that's why I hate it here. But so she was explaining something, and while what she said isn't an excuse, I feel like it's a perfect example of what I'm saying. She was like, she really just enjoyed what she's found hard since that whole situation went down is how she had really been enjoying the attention she was getting from these children. And it's like, this is what I'm saying to you guys. Like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. She was doing these things. I see this as a teacher, and when you see weird teachers, the same thing happens. Why is it that it's always the freaking, who is the one who's always making people famous? It's the children, right? This is how Mr. Beast got famous, by making these videos that keep the attention spans of the kids and whatnot and what have you. It's the children, right? It's like the attention that these people get is giving them sense of validation. And so I realized that actually the celebrities are the most insecure of everything. Because you know what? I don't care about a lot of things because I don't care. I'm like, what is anybody going to say? I don't really care what anybody has to say about my appearance. I don't care what anybody has to say about my lifestyle. I don't care. And I realize the closer I get to the Lord, the less I care about what people think, the less effort I try to do a lot of things. And a lot of people who are doing the opposite, it's because they really care. They really care. Like, a lot of, especially women, they really care. And it's not that I'm like not insecure about a lot of things. I have many insecurities, and a lot of times I feel like, how am I supposed to compete with these women who are just like, literally doing every nip and tuck under the sun, every form of makeup, every hairstyle. I'm just like, I just decided to just give it all up because it's just too much trying to like keep up with that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can only go so far natural before we start doing things artificially. And then it's like, you know what? In a natural aspect, yeah, I can compete with that. But like, if we're going to start doing all this stuff. But again, why are people so dedicated to doing it then? And people are so confident afterwards? Why is it that, why is it that, a lot of women are little demons, and then as soon as they get into a relationship, all of a sudden, they're so nice to be around? Like, I keep seeing this happening, and it's honestly scaring me as a woman. And I realize, again, it's the validation. They finally have somebody that worships them. They finally have somebody that's giving them that thing. So they don't have to be a demon anymore. Now they can be nice to be around. Now they're not full of drama. Now they're not gossiping behind people's backs. Now they're not doing toxic behavior. All because all they were yearning for was a bit of validation. So someone to validate them. And what greater form than a man who's in love with you? Because obviously, you know how they are. So it's like all of these things. And so as long as you present yourself, that's what I'm saying, as long as you present yourself to the jury of the sheep and then this validation thing, right? And you're reinforcing all of that, then you're going to sway the jury of the sheep. When you're telling people what they want to hear, this is what Jezebel does. She tells you what you want to hear. They manipulate things in order to control you. Like I said, with the religion thing. Oh, we're going to get you to as close to what's real as possible, but keep that little thread of like, this is what a lot of people I feel like struggle with. And again, this is what Martin Luther was coming up against the Pope. What was it all about? Because the Pope had been saying, oh, you're saved by your your faith and your works. And then they got to dictate what those works were supposed to be. Again, suits them. Now they get all the money. Now they get all this. They get to make you feel bad. They get to sit there and have you sitting there confessing in guilt all the things you've done, living your life in guilt, living your life in shame, trying really hard to do everything you can to be good, destroying you. It benefits them because then they can make money. You see that in the church today. This is why people are spending money thinking that's going to help them, right? And all of this stuff. And again, so many of the things they're talking about are true. You know, certain behaviors are not good for you. You do need to let the Lord do the work. But you know what's not true? Again, no, faith, like salvation comes from faith alone. And like, this is what's plaguing the church, where people have been, and this is what I'm saying about the just close, but not quite there. And that's why just close isn't good enough. This is the point. This is why just close isn't good enough. This is why 99% was never good enough. This is why Jesus had to be perfect, because 99.999% is not good enough, because we end up here, right? And this is the problem. That's what I'm saying. The truth and the close versus the closest lie, right? The closest lie. So it's like everything else is the same. We're all reading the same Bible. We all have this whatever, right? But then when it comes down to this faith thing and this Jesus thing, it's always Jesus as well. When it comes to religion, everything else, oh, we all believe in this. Oh, Islam believes in the Torah as well. And so does Judaism. But then when it gets to Jesus, oh, he's not the Messiah. Oh, he's just a prophet. Oh, and the Bible says in Romans 10:9, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart he's raised from the dead, then you shall be saved. That literally shuts out every single lie, every single part of that lie of the devil. And yet that is the very thing that the devil has attacked, and why so many people have had all these experiences in church. They've tried, they listened, they were controlled by people who knew they were being manipulative, in the scriptures that they were using, and taking advantage of the vulnerability of others, which is again Jezebel, taking advantage of people's, vulnerabilities. Like I said, it's like the classroom analogy I always give you guys. Like, if I'm in a classroom and I'm talking to the kids, like, I can realistically do whatever I want at that point. I could go and start indoctrinating them on the worst thing, right, possible. You know what I mean? Or, I can nurture them for good. It's a lot of power. And this is what these people take advantage of, these places and these opportunities. So much of the church today, and this is why I feel overwhelmed. I feel so overwhelmed, like, with everything, because I'm like, there's so much wrong. There's so much we need to do. And it's like, there's so few people speaking up about these things. And then we've got such a big mess. That's why I said it's all such a mess, because everybody's against the Lord now. We've all got these extra traumas. Because that's what I'm saying. When I realized this whole thing, I realized about the difference between growing up here and in the United States, right? I was thinking, wow, so this mess is even worse than I thought. It's even worse, because now we're not just dealing with people who are like here, who are atheists. I'm also dealing with people that have had such complex situations that they've been through, such complex systems. And obviously I've been there, done that. I've been a PK, so I know what it feels like. It's very complex. I'm still working through so much of what all that stuff was. And I feel like everybody else has taken the easy option of, I'm just going to sack off God altogether, forget him, and I'm going to kind of almost become everything that I couldn't have become with him, whether that's actually genuinely authentic or just a trauma response, right? And it's a lot of work, I feel like we have now, because no one's really giving God a chance. And it's a classic thing. I've said it before. The reason why I relate to God so much is because his experiences, I feel like, are like mine. The same way that the world is always choosing, has in my life, has always chosen the Jezebel. People are always swaying with the other side, never taking my side. I never have anybody on my side or defending me the way they defend others. Everybody will hop in. I have a whole group of people hop in to defend somebody else, and people won't even bother to even question me, let alone even support me if I'm right. They don't even bother to question if that person is lying. If I speak up and I say that, oh no, that's not true, then I now become the one who's messy. I'm the one who's wrong, in the wrong. I should have done this and I should have done that. And it's like, well, why would I? I wasn't plotting and planning. I did what I did. It's like God. He's like, he wasn't plotting and planning. He created the world. He made the Bible so we could check these things. He literally says in the Bible all these things about how we're supposed to evaluate people, how we're supposed to figure out who's his and who isn't. All these things, he did them already. So when we're like confused, it's like, what are you confused about? What are you confused about? You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. And like, this is where I'm like, I really relate with God in that level of like, wow. And then people have these infrastructures of their belief systems that they have to undo altogether, which is why I've realized, like with some relationships that I've had in the past, you know, one of my friends, you know, because of like one of my old friends, because of how our friendship came to an end, because she was swayed by a Jezebel, like now for us to have a relationship is like, we have to like unpack everything all over again, all the scaffolding of all the years that she built up against me, and now build the trust, all because in that moment she didn't just ask me or do her due diligence, right? And just went for whatever somebody else said. And that's what I feel like is the truth for so many believers. And again, how does this happen? Because the devil is convincing, and the devil and Jezebel work together to create the best, closest lie possible, the closest lie you could possibly find, right? So that it's like, if you're not doing your due diligence, if you're not checking, right, you wouldn't be able to tell. You wouldn't be able to tell because you don't have the information, nor are you trying. You're just going with the first thing. And this is the thing that I find crazy about the world, right? Is we trust in all this stuff. We trust in the FDA. We trust in the hospital. We trust in the school system. You trust in your employees. You trust your employer. You trust your landlord. You trust all these people to do those things and that they're going to be reliable. But as soon as it comes to God, all of a sudden now we have all this second guessing. How the hell? And like, this is what I mean when I say that this is the devil. This is the work of the devil. This is exactly the work of the devil, like against us, where it's like every time it's the things of the world, whatever. We don't do our due diligence. He makes it look good. Like I was saying about with Jezebel, I was like, honestly, she looks like a lovely Christian girl. All she needed was an acoustic guitar and a nice backdrop, and she could have been singing worship songs. That's what she looked like to me. It's like, you look like a good Christian girl. And I'm out here looking like a harlot. Like a heathen. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, that's so interesting. Because that's exactly how the world operates. Of course, if I was the devil, I've been saying it, if I was the devil, I wouldn't be bothering. Like, people think, oh, the devil's in Hollywood, we're all good in the church. Do you think the devil's not going to go where the people that his actual threats are? Do you not think that his number one spot to go and attack is going to be where the people who could actually stop what he's doing are? Why the hell? This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm 100% convinced we're living in times just like with Martin Luther, where like, he's shown up in Rome. I feel like that's how I feel like. I've popped into adulthood. My prefrontal lobe is finally formed. I've done the research. I've been reading the Bibles. I'm spending all this time with God. Literally the most time I've spent with anybody in the last 4 years is God. You know, and I've spent all this time with him. And then I'm like popping back into the world over the last 2 years. It's almost exactly 2 years since the Lord told me that I can't do this thing alone. And I have to, you know, form relationships. November 2023. And we're now here. So it's nearly 2 years, exact years. I'm feeling hellish. I'm hating it here. It's horrible. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it now. I'm stepping into what I thought was supposed to be, in my head, I was thinking, I'll pop back into the world and it's going to be this great movement and we're going to be doing the thing. What I didn't realize is I was going to pop back into the world and I was going to realize, the world is in the church as well. The church is of the world and the world is of the church. They ain't looking no different. They ain't looking no different at all. And that's always been the problem. This is what I'm saying. Like when I'm hearing Christians saying all the same stuff that the world is saying, and I'm just like, you know what? It gets to a point where it's like the people of God were set apart. Like they were doing their own thing. Even the world systems, it was us who asked for kings and all this. God had judges. And if we'd left it at that, maybe we would still have judges and we would still govern ourselves. But now we're governed by the world. Now if I go and do something under the world's, under Satan's minions write the rules. And if I disobey the rules of Satan's minions, I'm going to get arrested and go to prison. And Satan's minions also going to be put off, allowed to get away with stuff because there is his minions, because it's his system. This is what I'm saying. I feel powerless in this world because it's like, what can I do? We've given away so much because we didn't do our due diligence. We kept getting swayed by the wrong side, like every time. That's what I'm saying. Jezebel, I was looking at her, I was like, she's really beautiful. Like I was like, she is stunning. She's gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you would be swayed. You would see a beautiful woman like that, especially her looking all wholesome. Yeah, you would trust her. Just like how, people automatically tend to trust me until I entered into this era. Now people don't trust me so much no more. But which I'm happy about, honestly, because I hate being seen to be responsible, mature, or like something to. I don't want it. It's too much pressure. I've lived through that my whole life. That was another one of the reasons I'm exhausted. I don't want anybody to have any expectations, any hope, any faith in me. Don't be disappointed. Expect the worst. So, but yeah, like seeing her, it's like, I get it. Of course and like as a woman, I know how easy it is. Like it's easy to seduce people, and seduction just doesn't just happen in a sexual manner, you guys. Seduction is very like, there are the smallest things you can do to get what you want out of people, because I'm very good at getting what I want. That's why I call myself the winning team, because at the end of the day, once I decide I want something, I do always get it. I do always get it. And I have my tools. I have my ways of like, I said to you guys, there's little things I used to do. Like when I was a business owner, I would just do a couple things that got me in through the door. I would show up dressed smart, make my little badge with my lanyard, with my badge, with my face on it, my ID, with a fake barcode for the company. And I would always talk about my company in the plural. We at such and such company do this. I would always make it seem so legit. So people are just looking at how I'm dressed. They're seeing that I've got an ID with the logo all like laminated, whatever. They're seeing I'm talking about us in the plural. I've bought the email, so I've got the marketing at this and the me at this of my own company. I've bought the domain. I did very little things, and all of those little things convinced people that I had so much. I had nothing. That's what I'm saying. It's just all seduction. It's very easy. Like this is what I'm saying. Like I've always looked at everything I've wanted in life. I just become the character that would be in that role. That's what I do. If I want to do something, I'm like, well, what does that character look like? What does that character, like when I wanted to do event planning, what does that character look like? What kind of tasks does that character do, on a daily basis? What does that, you know what I mean? And then if people see you behaving in a certain way, they just fall for it and you immediately got them. And it's just as simple as that. So that's why I'm saying to you guys, like, I really am saying all these things for your own benefit, because some of us over here, like, that's another reason I don't care, because I'm like, God, you know what? The only thing is that he's leaving me here at the moment to have to be around this. But it's like, at the end of the day, I'm going to be with the Lord. I'm not here being deceived. I'm not here under deception. And so, like, when I'm hearing deceived people, why do I care about the opinions of deceived folk? Why do I care about the opinions of losers? Why do I care? I don't care. Because you're the one who's deceived at the moment. You're the one who's on the wrong side. And then you want to tell me, this is one thing I found so fascinating about me. And I find it fascinating still, especially when I was just in hospital and now, how quick people are to just be so sure that they know what they're talking about. Because I'm here always second guessing everything, which I feel like honestly helps me to always be checking things and always be humbling myself. But meanwhile, other people are so boldly, brazenly just like, comfortable that they know what they're talking about and they know what to tell me how what I need to do to fix my problem, what I need to do for this. And I'm like, that's actually the worst advice I could take right now. And the fact that you think you're giving good advice is just says a lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's the world we're living in. We're living in that kind of world now where like everybody is so deceived. and the devil's just he's doing his big one, as I like to say. And it's because he's good at getting the closest lie. And this is why I like X. This is why I hate language. Because in language, words have connotations. So one word can mean a lot of things, right? And also contextually, which country you're living in, or what it is, like what it means to you, that same exact word. Even with the English language, I've been getting so irritated with the differences between American English and English. It's so stupid because it's the same language. So I'm like, again, who knows what you guys are understanding, those of you who are not from England, over out there, if you speak American English, because some of the words I'm using, I'm probably not using them in the connotation you understand. You know what I mean? But guess what? When I go to do algebra, guess what? X is only ever one thing. X is, there's no ifs or buts. There's no American X and English X or Chinese X. It's like the one thing we all have in common together is that whatever X is the same here as it is in Japan, as it is in America, as it is in Brazil, as it is in Russia, as it is in Australia, as it is in Senegal, do you know what I'm saying? It's the same. That's why I love it. And it's precise and it's exact, like God. This lie thing, as soon as you move away from perfection, this is where we open the door to, anything can be anything, just like Adam and Eve all over again. God says, if you eat from the tree, you shall surely die. Eternal death, he was talking about. The devil says, you're not going to die. Mortal death, he's talking about. Those of us today wouldn't even know that because of all these translations. So that little slither of information in there, that little just near lie, because it's not true. They are not going to die a mortal death, but they are going to die. This is what the devil specializes in. Remember what the Bible says, he's cunning. So I don't know why we think he's going to be like Delilah and be doing heinous behaviors in 4K, in broad day. You know what I mean? He's going to be like Jezebel. Or, but Ahab, I killed him for you because you wanted the land and I did it for you because I love you. But I did this for you, you know? Yeah. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to leave that there. That's my nugget of wisdom for the day. I don't know where we're going with all these videos because I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do, like our low-key, high-key. I'm at a stage where I can't just go on making these videos without God giving me a clear direction of what we need to do, because I'm sick of it now. I'm sick of it. It's everywhere. Everywhere I turn, I'm reminded of all of this. Everywhere I look, even now, I'm looking and I don't even want to go out in nature as much anymore because they've cut all the trees down. So now I can't even go and have peace separate from humans. I still have to deal with them because now everybody's all enjoying coming out in the woods now because it's not a woods anymore. So now I'm like, I don't even want to go in there because I'm like, what's the point? I went there to get peace and to be with the Lord and to recharge, you know, and go to the Lord's pharmacy. Now I can't even go there because now the freaking humans are there polluting it. The air quality's changed. The air doesn't smell as crisp as it used to smell like this time last year. I can tell the difference because I lived in the city and I could tell. But anyways, guys, I'm going to go. I got things to do, obviously. I got to go and get ready for work and stuff. Hence why I came out early, so I could just touch base. And I've been thinking about this literally all these hours. I was like, as soon as the sun rises, I'm going to go and make this video and talk to my people and tell them about this. Jezebel was right. She was right. She literally told me, like, basically our whole battle is between us and them, or at least between me and her, but us and them is like, she was basically looking at me like, let's see who can convince the people, because you and I both know that, like, the people are stupid. They're so easy for me to sway. And that's why she's getting bored. Because it's like, well, maybe it would be fun if somebody, because remember the last time that the way she showed up anyways in the first place is because it was when I was feeling defeated, and I was feeling defeated for this exact same reason. And I've been thinking about it that day. So the fact that she then appears after the fact, after that same day I was feeling like I'm feeling now, as if to be like, you're right. I was like, I can't believe it. And then obviously she gets to have the last laugh because she's like, well, I'm used to swaying them. I'm always going to sway them. We're always going to sway the people because they're idiots. They don't do their due diligence. They don't give God a chance. They don't give him a real chance. And we've got plenty of manipulators taking advantage, giving out the closest lie possible, you know, to everybody, whatever version of events that it could be to everybody. You know, so it's like, fight that. Try and fight that. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but that's what we need to do, you guys. This is the group project. But yeah, guys, anyways, I really do have to go. But yeah, If life's a game that's pay to win, like I said, I really don't know where this is going, guys. But all I can tell you is I just don't feel like I can just make my videos how I normally do right now. I just don't. And I just feel like God needs to just, he needs to tell me something. He needs to give me a clear, specific something. Because we can't just keep talking about all this stuff and not having action. And we're getting to the end of the year and it's kind of like, look, this is getting boring. Like, we're here now, we're awake. What are we waiting for? What's there to wait for? You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know where we're going with any of this, but I just thought I would make this video anyways. Guys, I love you so very much. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your patience. Because if life's a game, it's pay to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.